Hello, I'm Ollie and this is CriminOlly, where I talk about crime, pulp, horror, that kind of thing. Today I'm celebrating the birth date of great men and announcing a new reading challenge which you're all very welcome to join me on. So if you didn't know, and you probably didn't, today, the 15th of October, is the birthday of my favourite author, Evan Hunter, also known as Ed McBain. He was born on the 15th of October 1926, so were he still alive, he would have been 99 years old today. When he was born, he wasn't called either Evan Hunter or Ed McBain. He was born as Salvatore Lombino, the son of Italian immigrants to the US. He changed his name legally to Evan Hunter when he started his writing career because he felt that it would be a more sellable name, a name that would work better for American audiences than an Italian sounding name. But he's probably best known under the name Ed McBain, which was one of the pseudonyms he used. Under that name, he wrote the 87th Precinct series of novels, which is my favourite series of books of all time. A absolutely fantastic series of police procedural mystery novels. In fact, McBain pretty much invented the police procedural subgenre with these books, and they are also the subject of the reading challenge that I am announcing today. So this is one I have done before, but I am really keen to do it again. And it felt like, as today would have been McBain's 99th birthday, it felt like an appropriate day to announce it. So the challenge is to read all of the 87th Precinct books in order. There are 55 of them in total, plus a couple of short stories too. So it is a sizable challenge, but as I say, it's one I've done before and really enjoyed. If there is one thing I love about having this channel, it's the ability to share my love of books that I really enjoy with all of you. And over the years I've run the channel, and indeed before I started the channel, I've shared my love of Ed McBain's 87th Precinct novels with a number of people, and the vast majority of those people have really enjoyed the books when they've tried them. There are, as I say, 55 books in the series. I think they work best if you read them in order, because there are some continuing like subplots and things like that about particular characters, but you can dip in and out, you can read them in any order. So what I will be doing is reading them in order, starting with book one, which is Cop Hater. So as I say, there were 55 books in the series. This, the first one, came out in 1956. The final one, Fiddlers, came out in 2005. And that's one of the fascinating things about the series, is that it spans so many decades of American history, and you see a lot of commentary on American society, particularly in New York, albeit the city these books are based in is not New York, but is obviously based on New York. So you see a lot of commentary on that kind of East Coast cityscape in these books, and it's wonderful to see the city change and evolve over the decades that the books take place in. So they are fantastic books. They are all mostly quite short. The earlier ones are shorter. The longer ones can get a bit longer, but kind of maximum of 300 pages. So they are quick, entertaining reads. They have great mysteries. They have interesting characters. They have a load of humour in them as well. McBain can be very funny. You may not be familiar with his work, or you may think you're not familiar with his work. You may not recognise his name, but he did write the screenplay for Alfred Hitchcock's adaptation of Daphne du Maurier's short story The Birds, which you may very well have seen. So even if you don't think you know him, you do from that. Many of his books were also adapted into movies and are still being adapted into movies today. So the recent Spike Lee film, High and Low, is actually based on a novel from the 87th Precinct series, which is called King's Ransom. There have been loads of adaptations under various names of different books from the 87th Precinct series over the years, including a TV series back in the day. So an author who had a lot of influence. He himself certainly believed that the TV show Hill Street Blues was very heavily influenced by the 87th Precinct books, and it's not hard to see why. It does share a lot of similarities. So my plan is to read all of these books in order, one per month, starting next month, November. As I say, there are some short stories as well, but those all fall kind of later on in the run of the books, chronologically speaking. So we can worry about exactly how we fit those in a few years' time, because this is going to take over 4.5 years to do. But I'd be delighted if people join me for the read through. I really do think this is a fantastic series of books, and as I say, pretty much everyone I've introduced to it has really enjoyed it. I'll create a channel on my Discord server for us to chat through the books as we read them, but yeah, I'd really like as many of you as are interested to take part. And as I say, you don't necessarily have to read every book. You can dip in as and when you want to, but I'm fairly sure that once you start reading them, you'll get hooked. Many of them are available on Kindle Unlimited if that's your kind of reading method of choice, so you won't necessarily even need to pay for them. Should you want to buy them, you can usually find them secondhand on eBay really quite cheaply. They were hugely popular back in the day, so there are lots of copies of them floating around. I should close by saying why I used that phrase birthday of great men in the intro. So clearly today is McBain's birthday, but that was a phrase he used in his book. So later on in the 87th Precinct series, when he got a bit more playful, shall we say, whenever that date was mentioned, one of the characters will say, birthday of great men, with no explanation as to why that is, but that's the kind of humour he injected into his books. He was definitely a bit of a character, but yeah, a fantastically entertaining writer, and hopefully you'll enjoy the books as much as I do should you choose to read along. Anyway, let me know in the comments if you think you're up for this challenge. I will leave things there and say, as always, thanks very much for watching. Hope you're safe and well out there. Hope you're reading good stuff, and I'll speak to you again very soon. Cheerio.